Welcome back to my channel. I am Brenda and this is Reading by Myshelf. So about a month ago, one of my fellow booktubers, Bandy's Books, highlighted a collection of smaller booktubers who she felt deserved recognition. And I found that this was such a lovely idea that I really just wanted to do the same thing myself. I know that getting started on BookTube can be very intimidating, and I am still attempting to find my footing. Putting yourself on the internet for trolls to see or for people to comment on can be daunting and intimidating, and so I wanted to provide them with some encouragement, and I wanted just to share the love. So I hope to maybe do a video similar to this on a reoccurring basis, maybe once every month or two, as new content creators join the BookTube community. I feel it is a great way to make friends and to encourage the smaller, newer channels to keep at it and to find topics that they love and share what they love, and that it doesn't really necessarily matter how many subscribers you have. As long as you are providing content that you believe in, that's all that matters. So I have 12 smaller channels that I wanted to share with you today, and I will go through them and maybe even provide a clip or two of moments that really shined for me from their, whether it be the book tag newbie video or some other video that they shared and created recently. So let's get into it. First, I have Stories with Nessa. Well, Nessa is very new. She has 0 followers when I found her, and for her very first video, she really nailed the basics. She had a great intro, a great thumbnail, and I loved her wide interest in different book genres.
Yeah, well, not this rediscovering them. We'll be discovering them together. We'll be enjoying them together. We'll see, like, what do we like, what don't we like. So I think that's probably the difference, is that if you're new to reading or if you're rediscovering your love for reading, you can go on this journey with me.
So let's all go show Stories with Nessa some love. Next, I have Krisy Books. Krisy shared that he really loves doing deep dives into books that he loves, and that he has found a great appreciation of reading over TV. And I can certainly appreciate that.
Read everything. Fiction primarily. I do like things that are a little weirder, supernatural, horror, sci-fi, fantasy, but really I'll read just about anything. I like to read classics. I never read, stuff you used to read in school. I didn't read a lot of that stuff, so I'll read those. I'm very much into the idea of something being a lot weirder or different. And I guess that's it.
The next one I have is Laura Reads. Laura has 164 subscribers, and she is an open-minded reader looking to cultivate community. And I think we all understand that feeling.
And I noticed when I was looking at all the books that I gave 5 stars to in 2023, spoiler alert, there were, I believe, 8 of them, and they were all different genres: classics, horror, poetry, mystery, science fiction, a couple memoirs. So I really don't have any genres that I won't read from at all. I'm pretty open-minded when it comes to that. If the book sounds interesting, I'll read it.
Next, I have Kindles and Kicks. He has 197 subscribers. Kindles and Kicks provides wonderfully visually appealing videos with clear and concise reviews and perspectives. His videos are certainly worth giving a shot and listening to.
Memoirs, biographies, and autobiographies for However, I really like listening to memoirs, especially when the subject of the memoir is the narrator. I think it really enhances the enjoyment because it makes it less like reading a book and more like an intimate conversation.
He recently did one on the book Kindred that I found extremely moving, and I would highly recommend that you check it out. Next, I have Observing Emma. She has 190 subscribers. Emma has a lovely, charming accent and a peachy personality. She's a fellow fantasy lover, and she also reads a wide variety of other genres.
What genres do you read? Romance. I read a ton of romance. I love love. I love love. You're a lover girl, but you're not a loved girl. And I was like, apart from romances, what do I actually enjoy reading? Now, I really thought for a long time I was into fantasy and sci-fi. I love a dystopian novel. And I also love books that have a kind of darker theme.
Next, I wanted to mention Sully Whitrock. Sully has an interesting outlook on reading and sharing books that coincide with her life. So I think that she falls in the 300 to 400 follower group, and I think that you should all go check her out.
I personally love fantasy and romantasy. I don't know if you guys can see what my sweater says, but I love these tropes specifically. I do kind of try to break things up with romance or romantic comedy novels, but my absolute favorite would be romantasy or fantasy, and I hope to read much.
Next, I wanted to mention Crooks Books with 458 followers. I really found some of the editing very interesting and fun, and certainly seemed to have an eclectic selection of books.
Anything really, but I guess my favorites would have to be horror, thriller, fast-paced, whodunit. Those are kind of my favorites. I love Stephen King.
Next, we have XoJoe. Jo has a great personality that really shines on camera. It's very obvious that she's comfortable in front of the camera, and her videos are very appealing.
I want to keep taking recommendations from people on Bookstagram, and hopefully some of you here in the comments. And I want to try it, and I want to read it, and I want to give my honest opinion on it. But I will say that lately it's been fun. I've had bad reads, but I've had really good reads, and that's going to keep me going to be adventurous in my reading.
Next, we have Sleepy Book Reader 666. It's an interesting name there, Sleepy Reader 666. This is Damien, and he reads a wide variety of books, including fantasy. His videos really go into depth on the stories that he's reading, and he provides some pretty interesting ideas and perspectives, and he's certainly worth giving a listen to.
Novels, and maybe even more short fiction. I like literary fiction of certain literary fiction. I like science fiction, I like horror to a lesser degree, mysteries to a lesser degree, some fantasy, more the fantasy that was popular when I was a kid. Like with science fiction, I like as much as I can to keep trying new science fiction, but I'm probably pretty happy going back and reading the old fantasy, Michael Moorcock and Robert E. Howard.
Next, we have Bookstalgic with 851 subscribers. She is a working woman with a mother's perspective on reading. She is a woman in her 40s. She has unique views and interest in diverse topics. I'm right there with you, and I love seeing people in my own generation here on BookTube talking about books.
In terms of the average age of a booktuber, I do feel or notice that a lot of them are much younger than me. Right now, I just turned 44, so I have a perspective of somebody that's, in their 40s that has a family and that's working full time, and just trying to share that perspective of like how I fit reading into my schedule when it's like really just these tiny little blocks of time that I have to myself throughout the week.
So let's all go give a big welcome to Bookstalgic. And the last one I have today is Eyes on Indie. This one really caught my eye because she values something that is near and dear to my own heart, and that is indie authors. She has a well thought out and curated selection of books from indie authors. She is well spoken. She gives great reviews and analysis of small pubs and indie books.
Reads so many different kinds of books, but you have a very, very specific taste in books, but it just isn't tied to a genre. Like, I love poetry, but I don't love all poetry. I love fantasy, but I don't love all fantasy. I like sci-fi, but there's a lot of sci-fi I don't like. I do like thrillers and crime, but not all of them.
So as a prospective author myself, this resonates with me very deeply, and I also have a video on the importance of recognizing self-published authors as well as lesser known smaller pub authors. So I find that we have this in common, and I would love for you all to go check out her channel.
I read was Fourth Wing by Rebecca Yarros. I'm also going to have a super in-depth review on that book, so look out. I might film that next or after A House with Good Bones. So I'm not going to say too much, but I thoroughly enjoyed it. I thought it dragged a little bit in the middle. And another thing is that I noticed not much world building going on, but I think there's a very good explanation for that. I'm going to go into it in my other book review. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
So that's going to wrap it up for today. I would love if you have any recommendations of other smaller booktubers that maybe I missed. Please shout them out down below. Like the video if you liked it. Subscribe if you want to see more. I post videos every Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday. See you again soon.